Choose PrimeStar Home Health. We'll provide the best care for your patient or loved one. From managing chronic conditions to wound care and therapy, we specialize in a wide range of services. PrimeStar Home Health. We have the skill to heal and the spirit to care.
Morning, Coach, you can hear me?
I'm good. It's loud.
Well, good evening, Panther fans, and welcome to tonight's Coach's Show brought to you by PrimeStar Home Health. I'm Ben Hackler here with Coach Lee Doty. And, Coach, weather's starting to turn cool. Today, hopefully, was one of our last warm days. But, Coach, I was thinking about that and thinking about just you had kind of a long weekend. Of course, going into this weekend, I think we're talking about, upper 70s and low 60s a night. So, Coach, I know that I do, and you and I have talked about this. What's your favorite thing to throw on the grill when the weather turns?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know if I've ever put anything on the grill that was bad. I know that you a grill master out here. So, I'm just going. It's hard to beat just a good old hamburger.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stay with the hamburger. I know you're a brisket guy, but
ribs, Coach.
Ribs. Okay. Well, I like them too, but
I'll bring you something. We'll have to work
there's
that out.
my next door neighbor on the other side is kind of a grill master too out here.
That's where I would go, Coach. If it's cool weather, just walk over to the Thomas.
Right.
There's no telling what's going on over there.
I cook, really.
No doubt. Well, Coach, tonight before we get into to the game, let's talk about I believe our seniors here.
We're waiting on one more.
All right. Well, we'll come back to that. Let's get into the game, Coach. Thursday night, go down to Ouachita, and really a night that a lot of us, I think, are just ready to move on to the next week. But it was a tough night. The team falls, I believe, 43-8. And, coaches, you guys have got into the weekend, even into practice this week. How do you help your guys put that kind of behind them and kind of refocus on what's ahead?
Well, when you going into it, it's going to be a tough game for us, but we wasn't expecting such a tough outing, I don't think, for our guys. But, mainly just talk about that half the teams in Louisiana lost this weekend. Half the teams that played football this weekend lost. And, we're not in that other half a whole lot, but we were this weekend. So, we've talked about handling adversity and expecting things to be tough and how we handle things when it's tough. So just challenge them to come back out this week and put it behind them and, see if we can find some football players who will play hard every play and challenge some of our guys to do that. So there's a lot of things that went into it, but I mean, nobody in that building's giving up. I mean, we're 2-1. And, we played a couple of good teams for sure. So, and going to play some more good teams. So we're hoping regardless of wins, losses, is trying to get better every week. But, we were hoping for a little bit better outing than we had for sure.
Yeah. Well, Coach, let's talk about that. You guys, I know you coaches, you probably even Friday came in, you turned the film on, and I imagine some of you guys probably stayed late Thursday night looking at film. Give us kind of, before we talk into some specifics, and I've got some specific questions, offense and defense and things, but what was kind of the overall feeling as you looked back at the film and kind of your assessment of the game?
Well, what we saw on field level was basically what we saw on film, and it wasn't like we were surprised when we got home and turned the film on Thursday night. I thought we competed early. We had it 8-8. I think it was a 15-8 ball game with 1 minute left for halftime. And just going back and thinking about it, when a team scores before halftime and they get the ball after halftime and score again, we've never won one of those games. We call it a 2-for-1. If they score right before halftime and score right after halftime, it's just hard to overcome those. But I thought we played okay. I think we put the ball on the ground. That killed us. I think those guys were faster than anybody else we've seen this year. And, I think, watching them play as opposed to watching us play, just to be honest with you, I think it meant more to those guys. Yeah. And, our guys weren't quite ready for that. And, we didn't have them ready, quite frankly. So, like I said, we didn't see anything on film that we didn't see from ground level, and I thought sometime in the second half we started competing a little bit more. We started getting some stops on defense, and we got down inside the 10-yard line. When we had a fumble down there that would have cut that game to 28-16, 28-15, somewhere around in there. Yeah. Now you're still in this thing, Right. So we had some opportunities. We just didn't take advantage of them. And when Ouachita had opportunities, they took advantage of every one of them.
Yeah. Well, Coach, let's talk about both sides of the football. For your offense, I think we talked about last week, and even there you referenced it. Ouachita's defense much improved from a year ago. Played really fast, really good size along that defensive line. What was it that was giving us some issues when you guys looked at it?
Well, losing Whit, early in the game was huge for us, but we still got movement on those guys. Yeah. At times we moved the ball well. We just couldn't put any plays back to back to back. We just couldn't put anything together. We missed a lot of assignments, blocking wise the other night. And, we just didn't get it done. We just did not have a good plan going in, on blocking. We just couldn't block them. We had we had 3 or 4 pass plays. We had people running wide open. But, I mean, J-Rob can't throw it on his back. Yeah. We didn't do a good job protecting him. But we had a great plan, I think, on some throws that we couldn't hit because we didn't have time to throw it. So those things we have to work on, and they've been addressed this week. And, I think our coaches get it back going.
Yeah. Well, Coach, the second half, you guys did seem to find some things that worked. You were able to put some drives together. Of course, I think the fumbles are what kind of did that in. What were the adjustments that you made at that point? It doesn't seem like maybe we're trying to get to the edge a little bit more off tackle. I won't call it necessarily sweeps, but what adjustments did you guys talk about at halftime?
Well, we thought if we could have kept that thing 15-8 at going in halftime. Right before halftime, we kind of noticed them getting a little tired, and I was like, man, if we can keep them scoring here, we can start wearing on them a little bit. And I think that happened too. I think they got tired up front. We started being able to move the ball a little bit more and, started blocking at the second level. I think their linebackers are very underrated. Everybody talks about the deep line, which is good. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. But, their linebackers are really good too and can run. So, but I just think we started moving the ball and they got a little tired and, they're playing with a big lead as well. So, right. You relax a little bit, take that foot off the gas a little bit. So, there was probably a lot of contributing factors to that.
Well, Coach, for your defense, one of the things that was concerning going in was, and you said this last week, that in practice it's really hard to simulate speed. And I think we saw that from Dade and from Connors, the quarterback and the running back. Both guys seem to have, big plays, and some of that coming not necessarily that it was schemed that way, but some scramble type things, some broken down plays. William likes to call it sometimes playground ball. It just kind of turns into running around. Coach, for your defense, when a play breaks down like that, what issues does that immediately create for you?
Well, we didn't do a good job of trailing the play from the backside. The play goes away from you, trailing it and staying deep. And so we had no cutback players. And, we had some bad calls, where we went inside and did some things. We should stay outside. And all that's correctable.
Right.
It just wasn't correctable at that point in time when it was going on, And, of course, once those guys broke the line of scrimmage, we had some guys that was hustling trying to catch them, but we're not going to catch those guys. We didn't catch them Thursday night. We wouldn't going to catch them next Friday night. We won't catch them next year if they break that. So we have to keep those guys corralled inside, and it's a different type of speed that you're dealing with them guys.
Right. Well, Coach, as you looked at your defense, what were the things that you were pleased with defensively?
Well, it wasn't a whole lot of it, to be honest with you. We didn't play very well. We didn't tackle very well. We didn't line up very well. We don't defend the 2-point conversion that we worked on for, 10 minutes a day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We just didn't have a very good night. It just looked like we would rather be somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, Coach, when it comes to things like that, and I've heard you say before, you can't coach effort. But how do you help your guys get their mind right for what's in front of them? Because I know you talked about a moment ago. It's only we're sitting at 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
See, there's a whole lot of football in front of you. How do you help your guys defensively, offensively? How do you help them make sure that they don't wear the baggage from the loss going forward?
Well, you don't want to let the same team beat you twice, but I think right now we didn't play with a lot of confidence the other night. We didn't play with a lot of swagger, and I think that's kind of what we've done in the past. We've been confident going in, and for some reason we can't get that addressed right now, but I think we will. And but I mean, like I said, we just had a bad outing.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. I mean, I say guys that make millions of dollars a year give up 50 points in a football game.
Yeah.
And those guys are professionals.
Right.
So, I mean, you're just going to have bad outings sometimes. I know, like I said, I know it doesn't happen, but we got to get over the point like nobody's supposed to score on us.
Yeah.
People have football players, people have coaches. The other teams are going to score. And it's almost like when the other team scores on us, we go in some type of shell shock, and we can't line up right on the extra point. I mean, we tell them all the time, people got good athletes. They're going to score points. So there's a lot of things that we got to get over to get better.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Coach, again, tough night. And but like I said, a lot of football in front of us, good things ahead. Coach, you and I usually at this point would recognize our players of the game. And of course, Mr. Mitch Houston and First Security Tyler Monroe sponsor that. And Coach, you and I talked today. You had some guys who thought, hey, maybe I could give some recognition. But would you kind of just tell the folks, hey, where we're at on that tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't find nobody to accept it, just to be honest with you. So, we had some guys I thought played hard every play. But, our guys are disappointed with how they play, and we just couldn't find anybody to accept Player of the Week. So, we'll move on without it and hopefully get it back going next week.
Yeah. Okay. I think that speaks to kind of the character of your team, Coach, that you get beat like that. And it's not, let me get an award and pound my chest, but no, it's a team loss.
Well, I'm proud of them for how they reacted about that. So, I think we're moving in the right direction.
All right. Well, Coach, let's try to, I think we're still short one, aren't we?
Yep.
All right. Well, let's take our first break, and then we'll come back and we'll try to recognize our seniors and talk about West Ouachita. But you're watching the Coaches Show, brought to you by PrimeStar Home Health.
Got a lot of stuff? We've got the space. With 2 convenient locations, let Ashley Storage keep your stuff safe. In Monroe and Sterlington, Ashley Storage is where our customers are treated like family.
Choose PrimeStar Home Health. We'll provide the best care for your patient or loved one. From managing chronic conditions to wound care and therapy, we specialize in a wide range of services. PrimeStar Home Health. We have the skill to heal and the spirit to care.
Looking for a reason to try the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the price makes 5.
So money.
That's everything you get with the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's.
Down in the bayou where the waters flow, Louisiana Launchpad puts on a show. Digital marketing, their expertise, bringing southern grit to the online seas. Web design, video production too, they do it all just for you. Come on down and join the fun. Louisiana Launchpad, second to none. Google Ads, podcast production, they'll take your brand to a whole new function. Southern charm with a digital twist. Louisiana Launchpad, you can't resist.
Well, fans, welcome back to the Coaches Show, again brought to you by PrimeStar Home Health. And, Coach, let's go ahead and let's recognize our senior spotlight brought to us by McDonald's and Miss Jennifer Thomas. This week, I think we just have one of our seniors with us, big Nathan Riordan.
Come on up, Nate. Nate was our captain last week. We lost him to a little injury, and we're going to get him back, though, and that was a big loss for us, too. So waiting on him to get fully healthy, and know he's going to have a great year once he gets healthy, and just hurry up and get well, big guy. This is our senior spotlight right here. Let's give him a hand.
Congratulations, Nate.
Appreciate McDonald's. Appreciate y'all's McDonald's for taking care of us again this week.
Absolutely. I always enjoy that moment to recognize our guys. Well, Coach, let's talk about West Ouachita, a familiar local opponent, kind of like Ouachita last week, but it has been a few years since we matched up with them on the schedule. Coach Rainwater seems to be doing a great job over there, kind of getting his program going and building. And they dropped from 5A, I think, back down into 4A, so a district that seems a little bit more manageable for them versus the Rustons and West Monroes of the world. They come in sitting at 3-0, won last week over Winfield, 20-0. And they feel like they're in a pretty good position to have a really good season. What are your thoughts on the Chiefs this week as kind of you guys are getting ready for them to come into Panther Stadium Friday night?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're well coached, do a good job over there. They got a great coaching staff they put together over there. A lot of good guys, a lot of good men, and they're doing a heck of a job coaching those kids up over there. And they look good. I mean, look good on the hoof. We went over for JV a couple weeks ago. Their JV team looks good. They got about 150 kids in the program, 9 through 12. So, they're doing some things right over there.
Well, Coach, their offensive scheme looked very familiar on film to me. A lot of I formation, a little bit of veer on that. For your defense, what are the challenges to defending that particular offense? We don't see that a lot.
Well, I mean, you don't have much time to prepare for it. Luckily, we've practiced against our offense enough. We have a little bit of a knowledge about it. So, just, a lot of discipline this week about, gap integrity and staying where you're supposed to and lining up right. And, I mean, it's not like it's 15 formations. I mean, you just got to do what you got to do this week. So, just looking forward to how our kids are going to respond.
Coach, does it seem to, I don't know if it's an edge, but how does it help your guys knowing that it is a scheme that your offensive coaches know well? And is there some conversation between the defensive and offensive staffs about, hey, here's how you would defend this?
It has been, yeah. And, vice versa. Yeah. And so, yeah, it helps. But the problem with that is they got the same situation over there. So,
right.
Because they run the same type of defense we run, they're 4-3 guys over there as well. So, everybody's got the same advantage, unfortunately, this week.
Yeah. Well, Coach, that defense you mentioned, they do look a lot like us, a 4-3, nothing really unfamiliar with that. But as you look at for your offense this week, what are some of the places you think maybe some opportunities would be there for your offense to kind of get back on track this week?
Well, I think, we got our offensive line, we've had all week. We knew Nate wasn't going to be with us. We'll see about Whitlock there. I think he's going to be fine, and rest of our guys will be fine. So we've had all week knowing who we're going to have Friday night, and that's big for our guys. So we're able, I think we'll be able to move the ball if we can just focus on doing things the right way. And I thought we've had 2 really good practices. So excited about seeing what's going to happen.
Well, Coach, when you think about this week, and now I'll take offense first. For your offense, what are some of the things that you want to see from those guys specifically this week? When you get to Saturday morning and film sessions, what are the things you want to be able to look at those guys and say, guys, here's some areas of growth that we saw? Yeah,
well, not putting the ball on the ground would be a huge start, or not getting, 3 false starts on the first drive would help too. But those type of things, are drive killers, right. And especially the fumbles. So we got to work on that. We have, and would love to see that, and just move the ball and impose our will. When we do that, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to turn off the Mr. Nice Guy act and get out there and get after it. And so that's kind of what I'm looking forward to for our offense.
Well, Coach, same question for your defense then. What are the areas that you want to see improvement in this week?
Line up right, and get the correct defense called, and everybody do what you coach to do on your assignment, and, not do your own thing. And, if we can do that, then we'll have some success. And tackle, we've always been a one-on-one tackling. We've never been really good. Nobody's going to look at a video of Sterlington High School and say, this is how you teach tackling 101, but we gang tackled. We've always been gang tacklers, and, we're not running to the ball and getting there so we can tackle as a team. And, some gang tackling would be nice to see this week. And, I think one of the things you got to do with your team, you talk about getting over something, is be honest with them. We sugarcoating it, not going to do a whole lot for you, So be honest with them, and got to be honest with your coaches. We didn't get the job done last week. So it's not just the offense and the defense that we want to see improvement from. We want to see improvement from our coaching staff, including me. So, there's a lot of things that got worked on this weekend.
Well, Coach, we are seeing, and we saw this with injuries even on Thursday night and going forward, you got a lot of young guys that are having to step up. This week, kind of the same situation with Nate being out and maybe some of the other defensive sides and things going on, but some young guys are having to step up. But you've mentioned this a couple of weeks, and so I wanted to ask you about this. You've talked about some guys that are maybe getting to play but aren't quite ready. How do you help those guys to see the opportunities that are in front of them and maybe help them begin to rise up to what you're asking of them?
Well, when you can play somebody like Washita and you get that on film, and you get you guys in meetings and you can slow it down and show them, what did we talk about here?
Yeah.
I was supposed to attack the outside shoulder. Then what did you do? Well, I didn't. Well, that's how you got hooked. Showing them on film is a great teacher, and especially when you play in teams that you have to rise up and play. You got to do what you taught to do. You got to do what you coach to do. And when you can show it to them on the film, that's a big teaching component of football for us.
Yeah, Coach, I'm glad you say that, because I think sometimes people think that film sessions are basically just bring the kids in a room and just yell at them about all the things that they did wrong. But really, you've had time as coaches to kind of take a deep breath, kind of see the things, opportunities to teach. And that's one of the things I've appreciated about watching you guys kind of behind the scenes is there's a whole lot of teaching that goes on in the scheme that you do. How do you kind of separate the emotion from it and just focus back in on the teaching?
When nobody, all of our coaches stayed up there at 1 o'clock or so, Friday morning watching film, and nobody, it's over for us then. Now it's the teaching begins, and the corrections begin, and the soul searching begins, the looking in the mirror begins. And so you got to get the emotions out of the way, and you can use them to motivate some the next week, but you just got to flush it and you got to move on.
Well, Coach, again, we talked about this Friday night. West Washita comes in. Panthers a chance to get back on track at Dale Ashley Field at 7 p.m. We've told our fans, hey, if you can't make it, you can catch us on our YouTube channel, SHS Panther Football, or you can go to shspantherfootball.com for the link to the live stream. Coach, before we wrap anything up, I do want to ask you we made the announcement last Thursday night that we were back on YouTube for free. And can you just kind of tell folks, hey, here's what was going on and here's where we are now?
Well, we had some issues stemming from last year as far as the YouTube going, and trying to get back in the good graces of being able to stream live. We could stream recorded, we just couldn't stream live. So the stream we found was behind a paywall, and we knew it was temporary. So got that out of the way, and we're good to go now. So glad that's happen for our fans.
Yeah, Coach, for those of us with grandparents and stuff that still like to watch, we were much appreciative of the simplicity of going back to YouTube for sure.
Good.
So, I know there's a lot of excited folks who love watching Panther football, some that are around town. It's amazing to me when I see the kind of the viewership. And we got folks, I think last year we hit Saudi Arabia more than once, and it was actually somebody that we knew. It wasn't just a spam bot, but dads that are offshore or uncles or whatever. So it's a great tool for our program. I think it's been a good thing for our folks.
Yeah, I had a guy email me from Vermont last year, so it's a lot of folks tune into that, and we appreciate all of our sponsors. They're the ones that make that happen, and you guys do a great job, and we appreciate it. So I think we're going to have a huge crowd this week. I know West Washita travels well. We'll travel well. So looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Should be a great night there at Dale Ashley Field. Friday night, 7 o'clock. If you're watching online, pregame show will start at 6:45 with William Handy and myself, and we'll get you set for kickoff right at 7 p.m. Do want to remind you, you can check out the website, shspantherfootball.com. We'll have highlight videos, the game replays, and so much more there. Please check that out. You'll also find the link for Aiden's partnership with the Kick for Cancer Child Research. And so I encourage you to check that link out and donate there, find out more about that. Coach, I'll give you the final words before we wrap up tonight.
We're looking forward to having a great crowd, a great ball game, and the Panthers getting back on track. And as always, go Panthers.
Panther fans, we hope you have a great night, great weekend. We'll see you Friday night at Dale Ashley Field.
Looking for a reason to try the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the price makes 5.
So much.
That's everything you get with the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's.
The grass is always greener on the other side when you call the Sure Enough Green Team. For any weed control, fertilization, or aerating needs in your yard, trees, and shrubs. They'll sure enough make a difference at Sure Enough Green.